Mr. Capriglione, are you aware that one of the most dreaded things that happens with this kind of loan is that lenders ask the borrower for 2 checks, and then those checks are deposited? And do you realize that these lenders use the justices of the peace to go out and collect on these checks?
Representative Giddings, what I would say is we're not going to, and first of all, Representative Craddock's amendment is not going to solve the problems of people going into default. The question again is just simply, should we find a way to lower those costs? And I think we agree that the answer is yes. Should we make sure that there's protections in place for consumers? I think we both agree there are some, okay? The real question is whether in these 42, 43 cities, they have come up with the solution, and given the lack of evidence, lack of data, anybody yet has shown.
There's no lack of data.
There is lack of evidence because there's no data that shows that in those areas that those folks have not only gotten more access to capital, but also at the same time reduced fees. All we know is there's less stores for that.
So we're supposed to let the little grandmother that came to testify after her husband died and she made one of these loans, and then she gave 2 checks, and then it was turned over to the justice of the peace. So we're not supposed to do anything to help that little grandmother who came to this house to a committee to testify.
Well, I'm not aware of that committee. What I would say is we should always try and help anybody whenever we can. And in order to help individuals to get the lowest possible cost for whatever they need, whether it's utilities, whether it's transportation, or whether it's cost of capital, the best thing that we can do is make sure the regulations that we have are the lowest minimal amount possible, but still be able to protect those individuals. And I think that what Representative Craddock is doing with this amendment is too far and will actually cost those same individuals that we're trying to help and their family members a lot more. And I think the facts and the basis and just looking at how the rest of the world works when it comes to this issue, I think is self-evident.
Are you aware that agencies, charitable agencies such as United Way, that religious organizations are coming down here and asking us to help these people because these people are ending up?
I think they should, and I think we should, absolutely.
And
I think United Way and all the churches are doing a great job.
When would you think we ought to start?
Well, but again, I mean, what his amendment doesn't say anything at all about that. And so if we really want to do, there's ways to help the United Way, and I think this is not the way to do it.
Well, the United Way is not so much asking us to make contributions to them. What they're asking us is to do something, well, in the Texas House, that's not what they were asking us when they came to testify. They asked us to give some relief to these people who are getting caught up in this cycle of debt that they cannot get out of.
I think the best relief we can give individuals is not through either of our amendments, and that's again why I asked Representative Craddock to pull his down, but he won't. But
we need to help these people.
I would love to help everybody.